are we live right now on live streaming in Facebook and YouTube? Are we?
I think it's still updating, but I'm sure it
Okay.
will be.
All right. So again, let me introduce our guest today. Uh, no other than a dynamic lady I've known, Miss Rory Sugay, and she indeed is an expert in her own right. She is passionate. She loves to train people. She loves to develop people, and age is not even visible in her. No, she's forever young.
Wow. Wow, of
Right. So again,
course.
Rory, good morning. Welcome to Usapang Business, episode number 4.
Oh,
Okay.
good morning, Boots. Thank you for inviting me. And Kernan, I'm so happy to have met you now in person, live.
Our
Okay.
pleasure having you here,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yes. Oh, call me Rory, please. The
Okay.
mom, the mom will reveal the age, and that is what we cannot talk about. You know what? I'd like to greet my friends from California. They're so excited to see me here. Uh, Techi and Bing Bitanga, if you have not entered, it means you are poor in technology, like me. So you will have to watch this delayed. That's okay, as long as you see me. They're very dear friends of mine, and they always make me stay in their house when I go there.
Yeah,
All
we are
right.
live. Actually, we're live streaming in Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, ang dami nating Facebook page na naka-live. Profile page ni Kernan, my profile page, Boots Olivares Bartolome, my Facebook page as well, Boots Bartolome. Eh, pag hindi pa ho maraming hindi natuto, ewan ko na.
All right.
Okay? But Rory,
My oh
Ro-
yes, yes.
yes, Rory, the thing that a lot of people are now asking is, how do I have a business. Lahat naman tayo,
Mm-hmm.
negosyante, si Kernan is into logistics.
Mm-hmm.
And is it that really difficult now to maintain people, to find the right people to help you?
Boots and Karnan and dear audience, there is never a romantic time or romantic phase in conducting human resource affairs. There is always the challenge. And in fact, when I was heading HR and the managers are asking me supply of human resource because they need this, they need people from logistics, they need captains in the vessels. They would always come to me and complain that hiring has been too slow. And in my naughty mind and in my naughty conversation, I always say, okay, don't worry, tomorrow you're going to have someone whom you need. I'm going to the Divisoria and buy body spare parts and then come up with this person that you need. It has always been a challenge to find good people. And
Mm-hmm.
I have always been reminded by my president that time that number one of the things that really pose a challenge is that you need to match the talent to the amount that you're paying this talent. You pay peanuts, you get monkeys. However, it might not be the total of everything. Sometimes we need to motivate people to just be as passionate as the managers, even with a compensation that is a little less than what their talents require. And it needs some uh, inculcating passion from the human resource to be able to very work very well and with passion, with high performance, even when the pay is not what they require. We always
Mm-hmm.
say, as human resource manager, that um, it's not actually the pay. It is the way you wake up the hearts and the passion and the way you actually take care of the human resource, that makes them perform very well. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much.
No, it's okay. It's okay. In fact, it's so full of wisdom, right, Kernan? I'm so. But you
Yes.
know, the most challenging part of being an entrepreneur is that first you cannot
Yeah.
always say you're a Superman. You
Correct.
cannot
Correct.
do mega tasking, right,
Mm-hmm.
Kernan? In your line, Kernan, in logistics, what's your experience on human resource?
Well, we have the logistics and the IT part, no, of the businesses, and managing passing 100 employees is really difficult now. No, even having the businesses for about 20 years, marami pa ring dynamics eh. Like, how do you retain them?
Mm-hmm.
How do you keep them motivated?
Yeah.
What will make them really be productive and exceed yung expectations natin? There's a lot of dynamics that
Mm-hmm.
we need to really consider. No, so growing the business and scaling it up, it's a journey for the organization for us to achieve such heights. No, so if I may say, but of course, I'd love to also hear from Ma'am Rory. Rory, not no
Yes.
more mom. So
Yes.
what are the guidelines for us to scale? No, those are the things that I keep on checking ourselves. No,
Mm-hmm.
even I noticed that there is a different rules when you're a 10 employee, 20 employee, 50 employee, or 100 employees. There's always a different dynamics behind how you manage people whenever you grow your business at a
Mm-hmm.
certain level. But of course, I'd love to, first, of course, to hear from Rory. Later
Mm-hmm.
on, I'll also give my insights on how we reach our a certain level today. Rory,
Uh,
please.
yeah. This is what I have lived by, and this is what I have seen, observed, learned. And by the way, I am very proud that I was an HR head during my Negros Navigation Day. But I always say, if I knew then what I know now, my management could have been very different. That time when I was a little younger, I only look at the business as business. I look at the financial side of the company, and I look at the execom where I was there, the mancom. I was there looking at how to save the company financially. But then now, knowing better, it is actually the human resource that we need to cultivate. We need to see. So whether you are one is managing 3,000, which I had during those days, whether one HR is managing 3,000 or 20, it will require the same human side of management, the same. It will it will require the same kind of communication and the same kind of direction that management will have to bring down to the last member of the organization, whether one is leading 20 or leading 3,000. You need to make them feel that this one human resource is actually that important in the business. That's my take in the process. uh, Whether one is leading 20 or 3,000, these people will have to share the vision that management would like to communicate. There is always, as far as my training experience and my management experience is concerned, there is always the need to share where would we like to go in the business. What is our vision? Why do we want to go there? And then leaving the values that management had set. Meaning, We create a culture that makes everyone march towards the realization of the vision that we have set. I have always seen that. And in many organizations that I have worked with, the beginning of the journey for a high performing human resource is really to make them know why are we doing what we're doing. Make them find the reasons to their activities, to their
Yeah.
performance. Why? And when they understand that, it will be easier to make everyone march and rally towards the realization of the vision. We
Mhm.
do that all the time.
But Rory, the question there is that sometimes you want to retain people, but here they are. There are a lot of companies trying to pirate them, and getting them. Oh, by the way, before we continue, let me say greetings to Betty Centeno of Makati North Rotary. Let me also greet somebody, Fabian Bitanga Jr. from Burbank,
Oh, those are my
USA.
friends. Yes, those are my
Okay,
friends in
and
Burbank.
also Bench Olivares, we can see that coming in, and also Miss Lisa
Mm-hmm.
Robles. But sometimes it's so difficult to be an entrepreneur, right, Kernan? Because here you are, you're trying to get people, you're trying to develop people, you're trying to do training, and all of a sudden these
Mm-hmm.
people will leave. I mean, sometimes you want to let go of people who are not assets, but your
Mm-hmm.
assets are the ones leaving. Why so, Rory? What do you think? What is there a formula? Is there a magic wand that you can say, hula? I mean, you stay.
I wish there could be a magic wand, but we can create some magic. Well, despite not having the magic wand, we can create some magic, but it will depend on the perception or the mentality, the attitude of your human resource, which of course must be aligned. I'm going back to where is this company going, and do I, as a member of the human resource, does their vision align with my own personal vision? So people
Mhm.
who leave the companies and most probably join the brain drain, there is no alignment in terms of their economic desire. They would like, and as Filipinos, having thrown into the different parts of the world, has actually one reason: to improve their way of life, to improve their economic journey. They want more money. So, to put it bluntly, and companies in the Philippines could not offer and could not match. And this has been a labor problem as far as we are concerned. A labor problem for us because we, like, let me mention to you one of the companies where I am luckily connected with. We train in Manila Hearing Aid. We train audiologists. And no matter how we try to convince them to stay, no matter how we make the salary competitive, they still go. And there is nothing that we can do except to wish them well. But there is a way to control them and tell them to stay. We train them, which is a need of all members of the human resource. Employees would like to be trained, that is being aligned with their future, with their personal vision. And when they get trained, we can only say explicitly, can you stay for 2 years or could you stay for 3 years before you leave? And then when they leave after 3 years, if they leave after 2 years, we just have to wish them well. There is nothing more we can do because we cannot match the global compensation. Everybody knows that.
Yeah,
I
but
Agree. Agree.
yeah, but with this
yeah.
pandemic, Rory, what have you seen? Is there any change in the landscape of people? Especially now, a lot of people are out of jobs. They're on
Mm-hmm.
furlough.
Mm-hmm.
People are all of a sudden taken out because the company has to cut back and to stay afloat. Uh, so people are now saying, because of the age factor, you have this internal competition among these people looking for jobs. Is age really a factor? Is it because of the content or the kind of skills that you have nowadays with this pandemic?
In the Philippines, yes, age matter. In the
Uh
Philippines,
huh.
we go to Japan. There are seniors who are still participating in the workforce. We go to the United States. Seniors can be employed. It depends on the skills and the most, not most, but the health. If you can do it, if you have the skills, you have the attitude, you have the knowledge, I don't think age will really matter in some other countries. But in the Philippines, if you're 60, you will not be hired. You're 65, you better have prepared yourself to be a consultant to be hired at 60.
Mm-hmm. So
But
in other words,
but to be a regular employee, I don't think so.
Rory, what you're saying now, and also Kernan, you're saying that an employee has to prepare for another transition in the life that the person will undergo. In other words, you cannot be from student to employee, and that's it. Period. No, you have to start planning, right? Do I get you right, Rory, on that?
That's very right. You start preparing for your retirement at age 30. So at age 30, you have seen yourself working at 65. What will be required when you're 65? You will have to have enough education and the stamina and the health. You cannot be working at 65 and you're sick, or you're not very healthy, you're not alive anymore, especially in our kind of environment, especially if you're a consultant, if you're a training consultant, you need to be alive on the platform. But how can you be alive if you're not healthy? And how can you be doing training consultancy and training on the platform if you feel weak and you are not prepared to deliver whatever knowledge is required of you in your job?
Oh,
But
fantastic, huh?
so many things, Boots and Kernan. I'm actually very happy that, well, you have invited me. I feel like I'm a star already.
Oh, you are a
You
star. I mean,
are.
you are right,
Yeah.
Kernan. I mean,
Yeah. Okay.
we know
Thank
that
you.
inviting Rory will give a fresh atmosphere in terms of human resource. At the same time, also for entrepreneurs, because sometimes people will always say it's so difficult to look for people. We always say there's so much unemployment, and yet there are no people when you want to hire people.
Yes, and that is actually a problem on matching the right talent and the requirement of the companies, requirement of the organization. We always look for people who have knowledge, skills, and attitude, but many times they have the knowledge and the skills, but the attitude does not match. And it means the culture of that individual actually does not match the culture of the company. That is very, very difficult. And I was actually reading, i'm trying to I came across an article, and one of the questions for recruitment is actually just to ask very abruptly, what is 25 times 25? So that's one question asked to an applicant, to a candidate. And why is this being asked? I was also thinking, why do they need to ask 25 times 25? That is to test whether the applicant can think on their feet, and how they react to a sudden question as 25 times 25. And I'm going to ask that the next time I interview someone. That will test the attitude, that will test the previous experience. So I'm imagining if someone is asked 25 times 25 and they just look at you and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know that." I don't think I will hire that person. But
But
if
Rory, yeah, Rory,
yeah.
the other contention there is that there are some people who always call themselves as HR, who think that they have handled some personnel,
Mm-hmm.
and they will now say, "I'm an HR." What is really an HR person in your own? Because you are very expert. You have done through the ropes. How would you now say that the person is really qualified to be a human resource professional?
Other than knowing the business side of the organization, that's equally important, is the attitude of the HR head or HR manager to be compassionate, sympathetic, empathic, without forgetting what really is the business for. And HR, well, I will always say this. I will never say I've said this enough. If I knew then what I know now, I would have been a better HR. Knowing the business and understanding where the financial status of the business is part of being an HR. And another big big chunk of being a genuine HR is empathy. Empathy. You relate with the individual employees. How would this one feel? In fact, more than the cognitive side is the affective side, a feeling side. So very seldom I say, "What do you think?" Oftentimes I say, "How do you feel?" And an
Hmm.
HR will
But
have that question. Yes, Boots.
yeah, but now that you're handling HR, how would you now handle the entrepreneur? Because you're trying to balance, right, Kernan?
Yes.
Here are the people. You are the
Mm-hmm.
HR.
Yeah.
You are the fulcrum, and here's the entrepreneur. Now, how would you now develop, short of saying that word, develop the entrepreneur to understand and to be a link for
Mm-hmm.
harmonious employer-employee relations?
When we talk about selling the organization, selling figuratively and literally, if you're a salesperson, of course you sell the product, sell the services, and contribute to the revenue. That's how do we make these people contribute to the revenue? Make them uh, upskill themselves or lead to the upskilling the of the human resource. And then if you are not with the sales team, and I always say this, in crunch time, in crisis, and times like this, we will all be salespeople. We sell the brand. We project what the organization requires us to talk about, to project to external customers, and be able to, like, for example, this is a very recent experience and very recent realization. Manila Hearing Aid has always been into patient care. Uh,
Oh, I
patient
love that
care.
word, patient care, Rory.
Oh,
And
yes.
with that, let me just give honor for having Doc Lisa Robles watching us right now and in the room.
Hi, Doc
Doc
Lisa.
Lisa, and also Marivic Gabriel.
Hi,
Uh,
Marivic.
and who else? Oh, Lance Palomares is also here. Wow, you got a lot of support of management patient care from Manila Hearing, huh?
It humbles me, really, Boots. It humbles me. I I am actually um, I give my big salute to the management of Manila Hearing Aid. From a very quiet and seemingly not that aligned a couple of years back, I can see now, and not only because a lot of Manila Hearing Aid people are listening to me. This is really coming from my heart. Well, thank you for the flowers, Vincenzo. This really inspired me. But Manila Hearing Aid, Manila Hearing Aid actually has tried its very best to align the human resource in terms of communicating the brand, communicating what the owners and what the executive committee and the management committee has been trying to push, which is the brand called Manila Hearing Aid. Meaning, um, they have many times over spoken about heartfelt patient care. And this brand and this heartfelt patient care should be projected by all of the human resource, not only people from the store clinics, not only the managers, but this must be projected by everyone in the company. That is the work of the human resource manager. Of course, it needs to have the support of all the managers, and it needs a direction coming from the leader.
Correct,
And
correct.
the leader will set it. The leader will have to set it.
Mm.
So, leadership of this organization called Manila Hearing Aid is very strong in cascading to the managers, and therefore cascading to the rank and file and to everyone else, that heartfelt patient care is what we should all project. That
Okay.
should be lived by.
Kernan, in your experience of handling logistics people, you're the day-to-day man on the street. What are your thoughts about it? Like, for example, you have drivers, you have what they call other people to assist. How do you handle people like that? You have over 100 people, I believe, right, Kernan?
Yeah, yeah. It's we just passed 100 late last year, and before anything else, no, I'd like to shout out RC. No, he's my general manager, RC Vergara,
Hi,
and
RC.
he's been with me for quite some time. Yeah, and one of my very trusted people in the business. He actually mentioned here in his chat, since we're live in Facebook, he says happiness, contentment, and relationship is the key. And I actually agree with him. No, he's been with me. He went into my company as a technical guy, as in the lowest person in our organization. And then he slowly went up to the ranks, and now he's my general manager of our logistics and IT business. And I'm so proud of this guy, And going back to the question, Sir Butch, growing the business slowly. It's actually the journey I mentioned, and the key here, it's I actually have five I can mention, so that I can share and impart to our listeners. The first is really set up rules early, clearly as possible, and then tell them their career path. Because if they know the career path, no, when they come in, they would know na okay, after 6 months from now, I know this will be my position, or the change of my salary, and the rest, no, those stuff. No, I think that's one of the key. Second is delegate slowly. When you delegate slowly, and you test them out on their skills, they will feel empowered.
Mm-hmm.
No, when they feel empowered, they would feel okay. I'm challenged. I think that's the one na nagiging gusto ng new age, new workforce right now. I think everybody calls them millennials,
Mm-hmm.
and I love those guys. They make me challenge really, no,
Yeah.
managing the companies. The third one is let them make mistakes.
Oh
Let them
yeah.
make mistakes in the
Mm-hmm.
sense of don't get mad, even
Mm-hmm.
though it cost us money. Them making mistakes, we tell them, okay, first, second, next time hati na tayo sa sa kapag pumalpak ka na, hati na tayo dito sa sa mali mo
Mhm.
So they agree, no? And then we tell them really that is that will happen, no? Fourth, trust people.
Mm-hmm.
Trust people that they will stay with you or they will leave, no. We cannot control them as per Rory.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely, what we can do is just do our do our best to train them, no.
Correct.
We cannot tell them you can stay here, or we put like a clause. I'll give you training, let's say. I'll pay 50,000 for your training, and you need to stay here with me for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I think sometimes it's actually counterproductive. Why? Because if they stay for 5 years and they give a lot of problems to the company, it's more problems to us.
It's true.
You can go.
True.
Di ba? So that's the problem. No,
Mm-hmm.
even to establish company, even the 30-day notice, it's also a problem. They will just sit around, right?
That's
Mhm.
right.
And lastly, let people go
Mm-hmm.
when you need to, even if it hurts.
Oh yeah. Okay.
We cannot force them to stay, because if they're not happy, there's not anything in the world we can make them happy.
Correct.
That's my five takes in
Yeah.
what I feel. Perhaps slowly, what we are doing is, I hope it works as
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
of
well,
now.
It
I
does.
guess with 100 people, Kernan, you're always on the research and development and always trying to move onwards, right? But what we're saying is that
Yes.
true, no? Like for example, what Rory is saying, that in entrepreneur must also show, tell, and demonstrate. A lot of entrepreneurs, just because they hired key people, I hire an HR, I hire an accountant, I hire this, and they sit pretty. Is that the correct way, Rory?
What do you mean they? What do you
That they
mean
just
by?
the entrepreneur is just sitting pretty because they hired already the key people, and the entrepreneur will just sit back and probably watch a lot of Netflix, a lot of
No,
this.
no, no, no.
Uh,
I know even the richest businessman will always find the big part of their lives running the business. Even the
mhm,
richest businessman.
it's true.
Well, because there is always a need to align and realign. But I just would like to insert something, Boots and Kernan. I'm a I'm a hopeless romantic, and looking at looking at yes, and looking at the exits and the exodus and the moving out of our employees. There is always something that reminds me, or this kind of experience in the corporate world remind me of the spoken word that says, I'm a follower of the spoken word. This is poetry actually. When you talk to love and say thank you for dropping by. So if I have an employee whom I trusted so much and I loved so much and treated like family and treated them like part of the business. When I have done everything, I can always say when they leave, thank you for dropping by. There is nothing that we can do. It's like treating the romantic kind of love. Thank you for dropping by. Because we cannot hold it. We cannot hold them, especially if we look at the millennials. But what I would like to share, Boots and Kernan, is actually a formula very shortly. The GRRR. GRRR. Set the goals, set the rules, define the roles, and build relationships. The last one may be the most romantic part of HR work, but that one will hold everyone and make everyone honest and say, one, can I stay? Two, can I go? I need this. Would you mind if I ask for this? Of course, it will always depend on how you handle the GRRR, but this four will always be part of a successful HR management.
Wow.
Always.
You know, Kernan, you know what? We need to really have another session with Rory because a lot of people are now commenting,
Yeah.
wow, when is the next part of Miss Rory? Because here at Usapang Business, we try as much as possible to maintain the 30 minutes. But
Yes,
sometimes
we're overtime.
we have to be a
Are
little bit
we?
of overtime. But with Miss Rory, you know, Rory is can give a whole day. And by the way, people are asking Rory, are you doing training? Oh, but you also have a booth here in Usapang Business,
Mm-hmm.
where people can see the services of Winfield,
Mm-hmm.
where
Yeah.
she is the
Why not?
consultant, the founder of Winfield, and what kind of services. Because people are now saying, I need a real top notch HR,
Oh,
right? Like
that's
Rory.
that's me. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm not modest. I'm sorry. But yes, yes. Um, I always look at the Maslow's hierarchy. At this point in my life, I'm doing my best to be at the tip of the Maslow's hierarchy, meaning I'm on the spiritual dimension already. I I would like to be able to reach out to as many people and offer whatever I know, whatever I have found out in life. I'd like to offer that. If they cannot afford it, I can do it for free. Why not? But if they can afford me, I, I will send them the bill.
Okay.
But
Probably
I can,
just an episode of your Korean novela, telenovela that you're so in love with, right?
oh yeah.
Somebody's asking, what is that Korean telenovela that Rory is watching to inspire her?
I have finished Vincenzo and I have Googled him and I have looked at his private life. I have actually stalked him. But what I would like, and this is another thing, I can talk about movies that I have watched and books that I have read. But what I like in the movie are the things that they say, for example, friends are like two bodies with one soul. I like that kind of friendship.
Awesome. Friends are like two bodies with one soul, and they have to
Yes.
share 50-50, right? Or you cannot be a majority, correct?
No,
So,
that's actually one way. Loving people is one loving people is one way. You just give
all right.
without expecting anything in return. That's one way.
Yeah, I think Kernan will have a Dear Tita Rory portion
Yes.
where people will write
Uh-huh.
Rory questions and answers, portion like, you know.
I do that in coaching and executive coaching. I do that. So I
Mhm.
would like to especially thank um, Julius Ordonez for bringing me to the world of executive coaching. Hi, Julius. I hope you see this.
Okay. So anyway, parting words. Kernan, what do you think? This whole show is getting again another overload, just like the previews. And thank you to Attorney Ferdy Negre, who was also our guest, the episode 2. and also Salve Duplito on financial matters. And every Saturday, Kernan, we're having this headache, right? Do
Yeah.
you feel that way too?
Yeah, it's our guests are always bombs. It's uh, gives us a lot of value, telling us how we can manage the business, grow it in different topics. And I'm so proud being with Rory in such a very nice platform.
Let me tell you
Yeah.
this. Continue what you're doing, and you will be helping a lot of people. And I thank you for giving me this opportunity. This is a byline of Guthrie Jensen. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. But this gratitude really comes from the heart. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. So touching. So final takeaway that people you want our viewers. We're getting flooded with so many likes right now in all the different platforms, Kernan. But what is really the final take that Rory can give for entrepreneurs?
On my Facebook, I wrote below my name, I am grateful. And I would like to invite everyone to just be grateful. Be grateful that you're alive. One of the things in LinkedIn that I read is be grateful you have work and be grateful you have home so you can do work from home. But there are many, many other little things that we need to be grateful for. People that we talk to, books that we read, authors that share their many things. But try to enjoy life as it comes. Enjoy life, enjoy the sunrise, enjoy the sunset.
Awesome.
Enjoy
Awesome.
enjoy heartaches just the same. They they
Yes, yes, totally
purify
agree.
you. They purify you. So even
That's
hurts.
right. That's right. But never lose your friendship with people, and always look back at those people who help you.
Oh
But again,
yes.
never don't let negative people affect you. Just
Yes.
keep on moving. And
Mm-hmm.
just like Rory, who has been an HR and organization development specialist through the years, really, we can take that from her. Look at her. She hasn't. I cannot mention her age, but that is something like a mortal sin for all of us, especially for women, no? Because we might get penalized, at Kernan, for this, or get a memo
I
from
We'll
Rory.
get a libel case, na.
Yeah,
So
we might get a memo from the HR department. Okay.
I actually can tell you if you're really I'm I'm a senior already. I'm a senior.
No kidding. No.
I'm enjoying my senior phase. And I always give thanks to God for letting me live this long.
Okay.
I never imagined I could be existing this long. But that's my wish for everyone too. Stay alive and stay happy, stay well.
yeah,
Right.
Strive to
yes.
be
Okay.
happy.
And also get vaccinated, please. Get vaccinated.
I got my first job.
Okay. So, but keep safe. Anyway, final thing, Kernan, before we close.
Yeah, just quick. There's two sides of the coin. There's the entrepreneur side, and there's also the employee side. My suggestion also, my advice to the employees: try to not burn bridges with your employers. No,
I
sooner or
agree.
later you can become an entrepreneur. You can be an employee to another company, and your former employee can be your customer. And it's best that you always keep the relationship. And when you leave, before leaving, you ask before you submit a resignation letter. It's better for you to talk. If hindi naman kaya ng iyong current employer mo, then at least you have a good relationship with your employer. No, so that's really my final say about it.
That's right. So anyway, also Fabian Bitanga says, "Thank you for sharing your expertise, and God bless all the way from Burbank, California.
Yes.
And
And
well, my final take is this, that we all have a life to live, but our life has the best before. We don't know until when. But the legacy that we leave is something that will keep on going. And again, mind you, do keep watching this Usapang Business. This is recorded. There's a recorded which you can visit from time to time. This is actually uh, held in perpetuity. Again, there are also booths that you can visit, different booths. Um, Plus, every week we have an exciting guest. Like this coming week, we have somebody who will talk about branding. And this
oh,
lady, one of the things I noticed, Kernan, we're all getting a lot of ladies. We only had one man, and that's Ferdy Negre. I don't know who wears the pants nowadays, huh? But
because we talk more. We talk more actually.
but again, on next week, watch for Carla Cabrera, a very good expert on branding.
I'll
Okay?
follow you. I'll
You'll
follow this
follow.
program.
Okay? So
Yes.
again, maraming salamat. Again, this is Usapang Business. We are on our fourth episode. We're getting a lot of traction. Thank God for all the blessings that we have
Thank you,
received.
everybody.
Yeah, and every Saturday, every Friday, we panic. Kernan and I panic because we have to do a lot of invitations to a lot of people. And thank you, Rory, for giving us the pleasure, the knowledge, and also your insights. And thank you to
Thank you,
Lisa
Jeff.
Robles and her team of Manila Hearing Aid for taking care of patients. Let them. What do they say in Manila Hearing Aid about hearing, Rory? The tagline.
Listen to life's moments. Hearing
Yeah,
life's
listen to life moment.
moments. Yes.
What a
I
nice ano.
hearing life's moments is
Hear life's
actually
special moment daw,
yes.
sabi ni Lisa.
Here. Oh,
And
I'm
that is
sorry.
what, yeah, that's what her
Hear
father,
life's
Dr.
special.
Abano,
Abanyo. Yeah.
mentioned, Abano mentioned, okay? Don't take care of your hearing because you want to hear life's special moments. Again, thank
Yes.
you all. Thank you, Rory. Thank you,
Thank you.
Kernan. And
Can
Thank
I
thank
you.
you to all those watching our live stream. Thank you. Take care.
thank you, Manila
Take
Hearing
care.
Aid.
Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you, Manila Hearing Aid. Bye.